Hey guys, it's Kiki from Eat More to Weigh Less. I am back with the next part in the results series. Today's topic is actually going to be dedicated to my girl Kathy from MyFitnessPal. She asked if I could do one of the topics being focus, which actually lined right up with something that I wanted to discuss anyways. So I figured that would be perfect name for the next part of the series, because there are things that I want to discuss about focus that may not necessarily be what you would think that I would say about focus, but I'm going to discuss probably two different types of mentalities when it comes to focus. Actually three, but the first one is basically the person that is focused on their goal, they're going for their goal and they're making it. As I discussed in an earlier video, that there are, pretty much is the way that I see it. My point of view is that there's three types: a third of us that are going for the goals and actually, hitting them or at least coming close. And then some of us that are just kind of aimless, we don't really know what our goals are, or we think we're going after them and we're not hitting them. So that's kind of the way that I divide classes of people up and classes of clients and things like that. So I'm going to do the same thing with focus, because I still think that there are a couple of mentalities when it comes to having focus and drive toward your goals. Because if you're going to set goals, which you definitely want to do, like I say, if you're working out, you might as well do it with a purpose so that you're accomplishing something. If you are trying to combine your eating and exercise to match those goals, that's going to be the next step towards actually hitting those goals. And then you want to have focus, because you want to be able to stay focused on your goal and not be all over the place, because in order to hit the goal, you have to be driving for it. So one of the mentalities that I see when it comes to focus is there's the group that has no focus. We are, and I know because I can be a part of this group, so I have to force myself to be more of the middle of the road type that is actually going to hit the goals. And so that's why I'm going to talk on that type first, because I know them personally. And this is the type that, I always talk about how I love to research and things like that. Well, there are some of us that will get so caught up in our research that we will not propel forward. So we get more focused in the research than actually going for the goal. And so then you're kind of stuck in place because you're not moving. So maybe you're learning so much about your goals, but you're never really going for them. Or you feel like there's just so much that has to be done that you don't even know where to start. And a lot of times that comes from the accumulation of either knowledge, whether the knowledge is something that is actually beneficial or not, or sometimes we're doing so much reading and there's so much conflicting information that we don't know where to start. So if you have a trainer and they're giving you something, then you need to just go with what that trainer is saying and just follow it. Stay focused on your goal. If you have a plan, a workout plan that you've started, that maybe someone helped you to figure out, or, an eating plan, maybe you've talked to Lucia or myself and we've told you, something to, well, try this. When you get that mission, whatever it is, that is what you need to focus on. Don't spend so much time trying to gather the information that you never actually make a move, or that you are waiting that you're going to discover something that's a quicker and easier method, which, I sometimes, parents, you'll see that with your kids. I am a mother of two boys. And this is something that, you always notice. They're always looking for like this quicker, easier method that sometimes you look and you say, you could have just done it by now, because they're so focused on trying to find the shortcut that they could have just done it. So a lot of times we're still like that as adults, we're like these stubborn teenagers, because we are trying to figure out, like, okay, that can't be the only way. There has to be something else to this, or I have to have all the information in place before I move forward. And net effect, you're still sitting still. So that is one type of group. They have focus, but it's in the wrong place or kind of all over the place. That is not what you want. You need to decide what you're going to do and go for it, because you're wasting way too much time sitting around and thinking about it. You're wasting way too much time researching. If you're going to try something out, you try that out, you go for it, you stick to it for a certain amount of time, see if it works for you. If it doesn't, then you move on. Even if you're researching while you're moving in the direction to find out what the next move is, if that thing didn't work, then that's fine. But you got to start, okay? You got to jump out there, you got to do it, and you have to stick with it. And if you know ahead of time that most goals, you know, yes, they need to be time sensitive, but you need to know what the time frame is for that goal. So if I say your goal needs to be time sensitive and you say, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds by 2 weeks, yes, you put a time on it, but that is not a realistic time. If you're trying to lose that much weight that fast, then your focus is gonna be all over the place, because it's not really a healthy goal. So you're going to be trying to do everything in your power to do it. So that means when 1 or 2 days go by and you haven't lost any weight, you know, you're losing time. So now you're researching what the next thing is and you're jumping on the next bandwagon. So I see sometimes that the focus is all over the place. You need to zero in on your goals and just head on down that path. Know how long that thing is going to take you. Set short-term goals along the way that you're shooting for, but get moving. You have to get moving at some point. We cannot just sit around and talk about it. You cannot, you know, ask 800 questions about, okay, but what about this? But what about this? Okay, well, I kind of get it, but what about this? Just do it. Just get moving, you know, because that is better than spending 3 to 4 weeks talking about it. You know, if you're going to spend 3 to 4 weeks talking about it, that is time that you could have spent doing it, okay? So that is one type of person with one type of focus.